Hi, you are watching SightsIn and this is Mishra. Please to subscribe the channel for the HR news, for HR updates and conversation with the top-notch CHROs, thought leaders and business sides. Today we are going to dive deep. Staying long, stars quote. Means, does staying long with a company limit your career growth opportunities? And joining us, Dr. Pradyumna Pandey is manufacturing HR head at Hero MotoCorp, and Ms. Gunjan Mishra. She's head human resources at RNF Technologies. Welcome both of you to SightsIn Plus.
Thank you, Ramesh. It's always pleasant being here. I love being on your channel. I think it's gaining popularity. So people like us
Thank you
always
for the
look for such
appreciation.
platforms to be in.
Recently, Pradyumna, we did a little survey on LinkedIn, and we put the question like that: does staying long with the company limit the growth opportunities? So, 82% people they are saying yes, and 18% people only saying no. First, I would like to know your initial comment on this.
Staying with a company, I would not say that it limit your career uh, prospects for sure. Ramesh, what I feel that as professionals, we always look at the people those who are hopping jobs, but we have never gone into details of that everyone who hops a job is not successful. I have seen people those who have spoiled their career by hopping jobs very frequently. So there is a certain percentage of people, those who move from one company to another for role changes. Maybe there is some benefit coming out of that, but staying within the organization is also not bad. If you show your caliber, if you show what value you bring to the organization, then definitely you get what you want within the same organization. That is the first comment, that not necessarily that hopping jobs brings much more faster career progression, much more money. Staying with the organization also brings that the same if you are able to perform and prove your caliber.
Absolutely. Staying long with the company, that absolutely has also some pros. But Gunjan, I would like to know your initial comment on this. How do you see staying long with the company may hamper, hinder your career growth?
First of all, thank you so much, Ramesh, for inviting me to attend this event and sharing, giving me an opportunity to share a platform with Mr. Pradyumna Pandey, Dr. Pradyumna Pandey, I'm sorry. It's absolutely an honor for me. So, talking about myself, it's been good. I'm going to actually complete a decade next year in the month of February. So, I'm only going to talk about pros because had there been cons, I probably wouldn't have stayed to this organization for this long. I would have left by now, or maybe a couple of years ago. So when you have been part of an organization for a very long period, which is 10 years, definitely a long, long time, I think you have a repo with everybody in the organization because you've served good amount of time and years in the organization. So I think I would like to talk about a few points here because if you are in an organization for 10 years or 5 years or 6 years, you have a deep company knowledge and expertise. You have an idea what this company is into, right? Because you've hired anybody. Talking about myself, when I joined this organization in 2015, yeah, 2015, we were only 180 employees. Today we are 600 plus. So anybody and everybody has been hired by me, I would say, because I've been part of their processes, interviews or selection or whatever. So I have a very very good repo with them, and it's a very strong, stronger internal network that I have created here. And stability and security is another thing. Chahe wo covid aa jaye, chahe wo pandemic aa jaye, anything that comes in, maybe because I've served so and so years in the organization, probably koi bhi transition hoga, my job, it minimizes the risk of being without a job during transitions as well. Potential for promotions because people know you very well in the system. So in case they're there to recommend you because they have seen you for so many years. Like my company is into XYZ, example, my company is into SEO, digital marketing, casino gaming applications, and all. So I've done mastery also, I know in and out of these processes, how it works. So for me, it's definitely, being in a organization for a longer period of time, it's definitely an advantageous. But again, I think it depends on people to people. If you're really looking for stability, deep expertise, and internal growth, probably staying with one organization would be beneficial for you. However, if you're looking for growth in money and faster maybe career, then probably job hopping can be beneficial for you. So it totally depends. And again, as mentioned by you in the starting of the conversation, everything has its pros and cons. So, so yeah, so that's my insight when it comes to staying in a company for a longer period of time.
Absolutely, Gunjan, very insightful. And career growth means that may be the what you're expecting from your career. What is your expectation from your career? How you want to see yourself? That also depends. What is career growth? What is the meaning of career growth for you? That is also another question. So we can discuss in this. And I think here staying with the company rather than if you say staying in a particular role, so that can hamper your career growth. You may lose the career opportunities. You may lose the learning opportunities. You are in a comfort zone. So you need to come out from that comfort zone. You need to work in different profiles, and that can help you. I think so. Uh, because you
So the
have
key,
been since last 10 years.
yeah, please, I'm sorry, go on.
Because you have been since last 10 years with the same company as you told me. So how do you see if somebody is staying in a company for a long period of time? So what would be your tips? How they can, keep career progression, and how they can see the growth in the same organization?
It also depends on the culture of a company. There is a new word that I have learned recently, toxic culture, wherein they do not let you learn new things, new technologies, and there are no mobility as well when it comes to internal movement we're talking about. So I think a positive company culture that values growth, collaboration, and employee development can motivate you, me, anybody to stay and excel. So again, to be in an organization and if you want to be a part of an organization, you want to learn something. So I think you need to keep upskilling and reskilling yourself. But again, it's not a one-sided, job. The company also has to give you those opportunities. Otherwise, you'll end up leaving the organization. So always be, when it comes to market trends, always be aware of it. Always be part of these networking events, like which we do, Mr. Pandey, and we do a lot. So because even if you're not being able to experience diverse experiences, you're still able to learn new things from people, those who are there from the HR fraternity. They will give you ideas. There are a lot of ideas that I've gotten from these people during these events and that I've tried implementing here. So I have tasted every, I would say, flavors being in a single company. So yeah.
Pradyumna, if you see career growth, that may be also one of the very important part that the salary rise. If you are staying in the same company, maybe annual appraisal, if you see not more than 10% generally. Otherwise, in IT companies recently, we have seen 1%, 2%, 3% as well. If you're hiring any new employee, maybe you are offering at least 30%, 40% high. In this term, do you see it limits your career growth if you're staying with a company for a long period of time?
Ramesh, you have to create your own value within the organization. It's not that staying with an organization, you will not get what you aspire or you deserve. See how you create your value, that becomes very important. And when I say how to create value, one way is the job allocated, you're doing it well. The other way is you collaborate within the organization, you expand your network within the organization. You take challenges. See, without challenges, there is nothing in life. Even the person who is hopping job, he's taking a challenge going outside of his comfort zone. The same you can do within the organization. You can go behind the challenges. You should not wait that someone will come and give you a responsibility. You need to visualize the big picture and then see how you, as an individual, you are contributing. If you are able to visualize your role in company's growth, in companies to achieve the vision and mission of the company, then definitely you will be recognized. And I always see that why not? There are people within the organization who are differently paid. We talk about differentiated workforce management. We say that there should be A players on A positions. Like for critical positions, we need all A players. Those A players are taken care by the organization. I still remember in my last organization when my promoter used to say, please outprice him from the market. It means pay him as much as so he cannot go outside. He should not even think of going outside. You have to create your importance. So I know that we have a process of doing those annual appraisals. But beyond that, if you are on a fast track, you match the people those who are go outside being within the organization. But I'm not saying that going outside is not a good option. If your present role is not exciting you, if you're not able to make an impact the way you want, but if you see that something outside the organization where you can learn more, you can gain more competence, gain more new skills, new areas you can put into your profile. Yes, why not? People move for that. But moving only for money, I think that people do mistake. And at the end, if you compare two professionals moving within the same organization, one moving out, both are, if it is all about performance. Even if you go to the next organization, it's how you have to prove yourself that you are worth what you have asked for. If you are not, then you face uh, the heat there. So my point is, staying within the organization, you can grow very well, very well. You need to prove yourself. You need to be identified as a critical resource. That's my point.
So that the
But I'm
aspiration
not
is very
against.
important.
I'm not against. But I'm definitely, as a professional, I always see that if some role is exciting outside, why not? People do that. But first, you need to explore what is there within the organization. If you can, after exploring that, if you still feel that nothing is there where you can develop yourself. See, as a professional, for me, my own development is my aim. It's not money. How I'm upskilling, like what rightly Gunjan said, whether you're upskilling, whether you're gaining more competence, more knowledge, more areas into in your profile, those things are more important than money for me, at least. So all professionals, those who aspire to grow, has to focus upon how they are better than what they were yesterday. So that is the point. In terms of knowledge, in terms of role, money is the byproduct.
And aspiration, that is also very important. Suppose you're working in a company and you see the competitors and they are the big companies. You want to prepare yourself for the role in that company. You're preparing yourself. You're growing. You're learning a lot of things. So that can also help you in career growth. So at a personal level, I don't think so. That is wrong anyhow. If you're growing, if you are trying to get the job with a better company, nothing is wrong in this. Gunjan, what is your take on this in terms of the salary or compensation package when people leave the job and they try to explore the option with any another computer companies? They generally they get at least 30-40% rise. Does it count somehow with the career growth?
I would not, deny with this fact that if you keep hopping and if you keep changing jobs, there is definitely going to be a significant growth in terms of your salary. But again, as Mr. Pandey rightly said, what matters to you is important. Given a choice between an authoritative job, a powerful job, wherein I'm able and I'm being, I'm an essential part of the organization, and given a choice between a good salary, I would anytime go for the first option, wherein I'm being inclusive, I'm being included in every decision, whether it's a business strategy, whether it's a big decision of an organization. So a lot of people, again, being at a leadership role also, I'm talking about, a lot of people, what they do is, because if you're getting internally promoted during your annual appraisal, yes, the hike is going to be in between maybe 10-15%, 20% as well at max. But if you hop, which means, again, hop is not a right word, I think, which means you switch, it's going to be 30-40%. Of course, there is no denial from this fact, but again, it depends on a person to person. So I think I was just want to talk about myself, that It's not that we've not, I mean, in those 10 years, I wasn't offered other positions. I was. But then for me, it's like, again, this organization is like a family to me, wherein I'm able to learn new things and I'm able to set an example for others as well. That, being in an organization also, you can learn new things. You can still stay updated when it comes to industry trends, markets, and whatnot. So that's a piece of advice that I would, which is why if you look at my team member also, even their average tenure is 3.5 or 4 years. Because I believe practice what you preach, and I'm practicing what I'm trying to preach them. So that way, yes.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But okay. Now, another important point is that what is the right time when you should look for the career switch, you can say. What is that time when you realize, now this is the time I should look the career somewhere else outside the company. What is that time?
The day your present job doesn't give you opportunity to develop, the day the present job doesn't empower you to deliver what you want, the day when the present job doesn't give you happiness, that is the day you should decide to move. But yes, my point is, like when we talk about different organizations, from organization to organization, there the culture is different. There are organizations which make sure that internal talent is given that importance. They have very robust process policies in place where uh, for internal job postings, like on talent development, if those robust processes are there, which takes care of the talent and its development, I think these questions will never come that when one should decide, because you are engaged with those processes. There is an internal job posting, you apply, you get posted to a new role. There is a process where your individual development plans are created. You are engaged. The day you don't feel engaged, that's the day you should decide that I should move out. But it's the culture of the organization. I have seen certain organizations which say that beyond this role hierarchy, they will not hire from outside. That gives a confidence to the internal people that this is how organization is putting their efforts to develop people. So that becomes where it's a culture. It's a culture. If you don't, if you start bringing people from outside on the higher positions, definitely the people, those who are working lower in the hierarchy, those who aspire to move ahead, they will feel the heat. They will move out. So your question of saying that when it's a date or timeline cannot decide your career. It's about your aspirations cannot be uh, guided by any timeline. I want to be at the highest position tomorrow, but whether I'm putting my efforts to get that position, whether I'm putting my efforts to develop myself, somebody should ask self, yes, what is my plan? What is my vision? Creating vision is fine, that I want to be a CEO, but have you created a mission, entire program around it, that what you want, what is your competence, how you develop your competencies? So individual professional has to think more on developing self and creating. I just wrote an article yesterday on LinkedIn. Cheers to next. Cheers to what next? But yes, but you need to prepare yourself for that. So there is no timeline. You can't say okay, after 2 years, after 1 year, after 5 years. That is something which doesn't work. If people start moving on that direction, definitely. I always say that, Ramesh, we always see those success stories, those who are changing jobs. We have never talked about success stories, those people who are staying within the organization for 25 years, 30 years, delivering, being happy, being engaged. SightsIn only writes about those people who have changed their jobs. They never talk about those who are staying in the organization. Even when I say we talk about those who are changing the jobs, but out of the hundreds of people, those who are daily changing their jobs, have you seen what is the percentage of people those who are successful after changing the job? It is very limited numbers. Those who shine, their names are captured. But those who fail, we don't talk about them. There are people, those who have destroyed their career by moving from one organization to another organization. Again, I endorse what Gunjan has said, that it's not bad to change an organization. As a professional, you have to take a decision when time comes. but it should be a very thoughtful decision based on your aspiration, what role you are getting. Money, again, I say it's a byproduct.
But I'm talking to HR leaders, so definitely we'll talk about the retention part. I can understand that. William, another important point is okay, you have your aspirations, you have your plan, you have your career goals. Maybe sometime you get confused. This is the right time to take a call for the switch or not? Should I wait for a couple of months more? Maybe I get better opportunities in the same organization. We get better growth opportunities, better learning opportunities, or so. What is right time according to you when the people are trying to decide is the right time to look for the another career opportunity outside the organization?
बिल्कुल डॉक्टर प्रद्युम्न पांडे के फॉर्मेट में जवाब दूंगी. The day you think there is no potential for growth and learning where you are, leaving the job immediately is the right decision. The moment you think learning opportunities are not there for you, no longer are there for you, take a decision. The moment you think work-life balance is not there, because that's very important. कमा किसके लिए रहे हैं? If there is no work-life balance, we need it. All of us need it. Take a decision. If you are not able to learn or experience diverse background or diverse departments or anything, take a decision. Get your market value. Are you actually being paid? While though I understand that staying in a one company probably might not give you that amount of that sort of growth, but again, it should be just. I mean, inflation बढ़ता है, inflation के हिसाब से तो justify होनी चाहिए. And again, at the same time, the moment you think that stability factor is missing now, take a decision. I think very important points, and that's what I advise to anybody.
Very important and very clear point. But Chennai, you won't have the clarity like this way all the time. Sometimes see the changes, things are keep changing. Maybe things are very blurred right now, and after one quarter or maybe in next month, things would be little more clear. So that is the sometime confusion time. This is the confusion time. Should take a call or should wait for a little more? So this is what I was asking about this. Another important point is yeah, please go ahead.
Maybe give some more time and understand the situation of the organization, of your role, and then take a decision. You anyways have to serve the notice period being at a leadership skills. By the time you are able to complete a notice period, I'm certain you'll have a job in hand. So
absolutely.
Yeah, give time, take a thoughtful, as Mr. Pradyumna Pandey also mentioned, that take a decision, but it has to be a thoughtful decision, wherein you do not regret later on, "Arey, ye kya kar liya?" That shouldn't be the case.
Absolutely, I do agree with you. And Pradyumna, generally we say it is a short period of time he has left. In a short period of time, he is staying with the company for so long, maybe. So according to you, how would you measure that this is the short period of time or this is a long period of time?
I always say that when I started my career, I stayed with an organization for 18 years. So when you stay for a long, there is a perception gets created. Either he's not getting a job outside or he's so good that the organization is not allowing the person to move out. So I think professionals should try to make the second point true, that they should create their value that organization doesn't allow them to move. Now, coming to your question that what is the short time, at least you should give an organization a time where, not to organization, to yourself, that what you work, what the efforts you make, the results you should see. And then if you want to move out, at least efforts and results both should be seen by the person in his tenure. That's all. You make efforts, you do some good job, and the results, if you see, you should be happy to move out. My point is always that if you decide to move, it should be peak of your tenure. It should not be that you leave in distress. If you move at the peak of your career, that is the right time that makes you more stronger while you are negotiating with the next employer.
Gunjan, you are from the IT industry, and you have seen during the pandemic period that people were resignation era. That was the resignation time. So you have seen also that people are switching their job within a year or so. So is it the 1 year is enough working with the organization?
Even 1 month is enough if you're not happy in the organization. So I think average tenure should be, if this was your question, the average tenure, in my opinion, should be at least 2 to 3 years in an organization. At least, because 6 months is a probation period where you're learning and understanding the culture, or your maybe roles and responsibilities, KRAs and every trainings and all are taking place. So at least you should be able to give 2 to 3 years to the organization, because we being in HR ask questions, and until unless we are not convinced, what was the reason for leaving XYZ organizations. So this could also be one of the reasons. It can also, affect negatively. Why were you leaving? Why were you hopping jobs so frequently? So until is there a justified answer? So I think 2 to 3 years is what I would like to answer to your question. That should be
Right,
an average
right.
period.
Now,
Ramesh,
I
in
think,
this Ramesh, in this time of technology where AI starts shortlisting your CVs,
Yeah.
I think you should make sure that your CV doesn't reflect that much of changes, job changes, because you will not get a chance to explain why you change so frequently. Because AI will not ask those questions. It will simply say, based on the data, reject the CV because there are so many changes in so many years. Gone the time when we people used to interact and try to evaluate why he has changed. There may be some genuine reason for changing. But when there is AI-driven environment, I think professionals should be very careful while changing jobs or hopping jobs, because once it is reflected in your CV, technology will just shortlist you as not suitable. That's my point.
true, true. So I think when we talk about the engagement part or the retention part, so this is also two-way process, not one-way process. But yeah, the first call, the primary responsibility that goes on the employer part. So what you suggest, how to retain the employees when the employees are struggling in such a situation, when are thinking, should I go, I stay, should I go, I stay? How do you assess this situation and how you retain the person? So that is also, I think, as
As,
a HR leader, this is uh, that is called.
as, as an organization, Ramesh, I think when we talk about retaining employees, the most important thing which comes in our mind is how to engage their minds, how to engage people. And as HR person, I always feel that there are two ways of doing it first. One is you create a discipline in the organization which is driven by process and systems. If transparent process and systems are there, you create the trust of people within the organization. I think that trust becomes important. When people start trusting you as an HR function, when people trusting the organization, they stick to that organization. So it's the robust PMS. It is you create platform for collaboration within the organization. You give them develop the opportunity to develop themselves. So this need to be very robust way of doing all these things. So discipline which is driven by process and system. This is what my tagline is that I always talk about. Second is a motivation which is driven by leadership behavior. You need to coach and mentor your leaders that how to behave, how to empower people, how to reward people, how to appreciate people. And that's the point. I think the most important is the motivation, which is driven by leadership behavior. So, as an organization, in the organization, whether leaders are comfortable if their best assumption or best way of working is challenged by their team members, that gives them an opportunity to show their caliber. If you are not comfortable, if your best assumption is challenged, then nothing can be innovative in the organization. My point is, you need to be comfortable. People should challenge you. Challenging convention should be something which everybody should talk about. ऐसे ही चला आता है, ऐसे ही चलेगा, then people will get disengaged. So these two things, discipline driven by process and systems, motivation by leadership, even this is one important point. You need to assess your people. You will find that there are drivers in the organization. Drivers are those who are motivated and satisfied. There will be critics in the organization, those who are motivated but not satisfied. So you need both. I don't need everybody to be satisfied in the organization. Otherwise, you will not create that excitement in the environment. So if he is not satisfied, you can satisfy him. We can make him driver. So there, for every two drivers, there should be one critic. This is what we talk about. In your every organization, there are people those who are satisfied but not motivated. The people those who are staying long with the organization, they are satisfied. Or everything is fine. But whatever is being told to them, they will do. But they are not motivated. But there is one more category which I always say that neither satisfied nor motivated. You need to look at them. You need to look at them, and there is nothing if you take a hard decision to deal with such people in the organization.
And Gunjan, what is your retention policy?
So my retention policy is very simple. If my employees are being valued, acknowledged, and given certain amount of respect that they deserve, I think they would stick to your organization for a longer period of time. That is something, a test and trial that I've done. We do regular surveys also to know how our employees actually feeling about the policies that we are implementing, or whatever XYZ thing that we're planning to do for them. So, and we do take their inputs also while implementing certain policies. थोड़ा democratic country में रहते हैं. So we believe in taking, especially when it comes to our leadership team. Most of us think salary is the only motivational factor, which I think that's a last factor to motivate people, in my opinion, in my experience. Leadership, because you must have heard that people do not leave organization, people leave managers. So we do a regular sessions when it comes to managers also, to make sure that how to take care of your teams. Mental health, mental wellness, I've started focusing a lot nowadays, because even if I'm smiling, you do not know what all I'm going through right now. And I may not be very comfortable in sharing with you also, because I know you very well. You might be judgmental. Hence, we have a third party wherein, we ensure that anything that they discuss and share is going to be confidential between them. These are a couple of things that I follow. Salary is definitely there. We try to match. We keep doing market surveys as well to know what are the market standards when it comes to so-and-so positions. So we're decent. I would not say we're paying overly, but then again, we're decent when it comes to salary-wise. But I think R&R is also that I more emphasize on, because even a small effort, any value that has been able to bring to your organization's growth, I think should be acknowledged and rewarded. So simple philosophy that I follow.
Excellent. Pradyumna, I think we have been tried to touch upon all the important points of this topic. Still, if you have anything else that is we did not discuss here and that is important, you can please share.
As a professional, I always believe that we need to create our vision, very clear vision, where we want to be, what next. I think everybody has to think it day and day every day. Like as a professional, I always believe that I should know that where I will be in next 5 years, where I will be in next 10 years. So that career path, that journey you need to create for self. And in that, if there is a job change required, please do it. But if it is not, it's not only just for money. People should not change, because you should always see that how you are getting developed as a professional, what skills you are gaining, what is the role all about, how you are being trusted by the organization. All those combination of everything. You should not be driven by money only. That is the point which I always say, that you should not be driven by only the payback.
Any of your Gunjan concluding remarks?
In an organization for a very long period, which is of course 5 years per gratuity mil jati, so I consider that as a long period. The moment you think you're in your comfort zone and you're not learning anything new, please start upskilling and reskilling yourselves, because you are replaceable. Despite you say, I have served 10 years, 25 years, 15 years, you are still replaceable. However, if you keep learning and updated on market trends, and have been able to contribute in an organization's growth, I think you're good then. So Abhi, I was listening to a podcast wherein someone said that the strategy that he follows is he keeps updating his resume in every 6 months to see कि क्या नया add हुआ है. If you are not able to add anything after 6 months, which you have not been able to learn any new thing in the last 6 months, and that is a red flag. Please keep learning new things, because मैं 10 साल पहले क्या लेकर के आई थी, अगर मैं if I'm thinking of giving 10 years to an organization and I'm a loyal employee to the organization, I think it's not a charity, right? Nobody is doing a charity. Even government sectors are not doing charity. If I'm not able to add value, they will say, you know what, bye bye Gunjan, we'll probably hire somebody else. Hence, it's very, very, do not take your job for granted. Keep learning, keep reskilling yourself, and that is how you'll be able to, add value, and you'll be able to really learn something that is gonna help you in longer run. So that's all from my end. Thank you.
Absolutely. So taking Gunjan's point, like being in a comfortable zone for a long period of time, so there are no more challenges. So that is the right time. As taking Mr. Pradyumna's point, like when you don't see any growth opportunities there, so that is the right time to take a call that you can look the opportunities outside the organization. So thank you so much, Dr. Pradyumna and Gunjan, for joining the conversation and sharing your wonderful thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you so much for having
Thank you,
us.
Romesh. Thank you, Romesh. Thank you.